So what is the difference between the Biden administration and the Trump administration on this regard? Because as you know that they have a Indo-Pacific strategy and a long-term global strategy. So what is the difference between these two?
Yes, and I think the Biden administration can still be characterized with a so-called liberal internationalist approach. Liberal internationalist when you have a global orientation and assuming that the United States has a responsibility, sometimes even a mission, to promote democracy, to promote liberal economic and political structures. And much of the US administration was also tuned in order to serve this. And since the return of Donald Trump, we have seen that the new leadership started to dismantle a lot of institutions which have been serving these engaging liberal policies of the Biden administration, at least verbally.
Like USID.
And USID especially, I think this is very important, which I think a lot of people consider the kind of soft power of the United States. So somehow Donald Trump and his government doesn't mind burning.
He said America First policy.
America First, which is a very nationalist approach indeed, and then withdraw from these perceived responsibilities of the United States. I think this is, of course, coming with a lot of cost because sometimes for emerging economies, the aid policy of the US, but also Europe, contributed to upholding educational structures, health services, research and related activities also. So I think the costs will be felt. At the same time, these institutions were also channels of intervention. And the intervention, especially in politics, was not always appreciated by the local population and the local politicians.
So now let me ask a very burning question for Europe and around the world. Russia-Ukraine war. How do you underscore EU and USA relationship consider Russia-Ukraine war and NATO's role in promoting peace and security in Europe?
Yes, there is a striking difference between the approach of Joe Biden and Donald Trump about concerns Ukraine and Russia. Since Donald Trump returned, there is a lot more friendliness towards Russia and tough, if you want, a harsh approach towards Ukraine is not entirely a novelty because when Trump was president first time, there were similar tendencies. Also at that time, Donald Trump was putting pressure on the European countries to increase their financial contribution, their spending on military, and contribute to the common costs of NATO. And according to the judgment of Donald Trump and the people around him, Europe would need to do more. And interestingly, Europe committed a lot more during the summer to military spending. Nevertheless, everybody feels that the commitment of the US to NATO and the defense of Europe is much weaker now than in the previous decades.